Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Force for Growth Live. I'm Ricardo.
I'm Courtney. Good morning. Happy Monday.
And what's going on today, Courtney?
It's our word of the week. And shout out to Michelle this morning. She'll be back next week. So don't worry, you don't have to miss her long. But okay, our word of the week is super exciting. So hang tight because you're going to want to hear this one out. Okay, we select our word of the week each Monday by pulling, or on our 6 a.m. calls, by pulling a Do 52 stick that is stamped with a verb. Do 52 is a simple but powerful toolkit designed by House of Shine to prompt us weekly to do things mindfully and open ourselves up to new ideas. And this week, our word is dazzle. So, yeah,
Jazz
jazz
hands.
hands. Okay, man. I just now wait to ask why didn't we do glitter? Anyway, next time. But yeah, this was an interesting word. So to head over to our definition on Merriam-Webster in the transitive verb section, to impress deeply, overpower, or confound with brilliance. And the other one was to overpower with light. So these are the definitions we went with this morning on our call. Had some interesting chats, but
Overpower with light, Courtney.
yes,
What can you do to overpower someone with your light?
I just kill them with kindness. I mean, I give them so much goodness, you can't be mad. You can't. And sometimes it creates some funny, life moments. But yeah, I just am that ray of sunshine that you can't bring me down. So I definitely try to make that contagious on other people. I definitely try to lift people up when I'm around them. But yeah, to truly dazzle somebody. When was last time you were dazzled, Ricardo?
This weekend.
Oh, tell us more about this
Ironically
weekend.
enough,
Yes.
I was overpowered by the light and the generosity that our volunteers showed over basket delivery this past weekend.
Mhm.
November 21st, we delivered 325 weeks. Well, let me rephrase that. We delivered groceries to 325 families, a week's worth of groceries, and a $50 Walmart gift card. Do the
Yes.
math. And it was just overwhelming to see everyone come together Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to make this happen. It
Mhm.
was very, very dazzling.
Yes. I agree. I agree. That's I got to be there 2 out of the 3 days, and it was just amazing. The kiddos were so inspiring. The kiddos ran the carts each time. We're loading up about 4 or 5 bags apiece and taking them out to the cars where we were loading them up, and so they were a very efficient team. But yeah, just everyone came together and just we haven't even heard all the stories from the deliveries yet, but we've heard some very special ones, and it's
We
just
did. We
touching.
did. So, when is the last time you dazzled someone, Courtney, with your light? Overpowered them with your light? Comment below also. Let us know when's the last time you dazzled somebody and overpowered them with your light and goodness and kindness.
I'm okay. I'm trying to stay away from work situations, but I'm thinking of two different ones. But yeah, a few weeks ago there was a woman who I was walked by her in a parking lot. She was waiting. Well, it was in front of a grocery store, so she was waiting for somebody to pull up and give her a ride. And anyway, just you have that inner voice that tells you to stop and talk to somebody. And so I stopped and was like, "Oh, how are you?" And I didn't really know what to say or anything. And she was really grumpy and really standoffish. And basically, with this particular woman, she ended up kind of tearing up and explained that she didn't have her wallet with her. And I happened to have a little bit of cash on me. And so I gave it to her. And we had a moment and we hugged despite COVID. We both had masks on. But it was a moment where I listened to the voice, which I am often guilty of. On here, y'all hear me talk about a lot of tips to listen to the inner voice, to listen. Well, I'm so adamant about that because I happen to be one of the worst that gets caught up in, oh, I'm so busy. I got to do this. I got to get here. And so it just really, it was a moment where I listened and paused and was where my feet were. And yeah, I think I gave her like 13 or 15 bucks. It wasn't like a ton of cash, but just seeing the difference that could make. But yeah, that so I hope I dazzled her because we had a moment and we stood there and talked for about 5 minutes, and she told me what she was going through in life. So that's something that a skill I want to polish, is that when I am there and around somebody who needs somebody like that, they recognize that in me. And so hopefully they can see the light in me and the safety, and hey, I'm just a fellow human. And if there's anything I can help you with your path,
I
and
help you.
remind myself that I get rewards, and the feeling of contribution and the growth I get each time I actually do that. So yeah, I would say that's one that means a lot to me here
It
recently.
is. It is. And I think what your point is, another to add to your point, is it doesn't have to be big. You don't have to give someone hundreds of dollars or $50, $14. If that's what you have, that's what you have. If that's what you can do, that's what you can do.
Hmm.
So one of the comments that we got from our delivery drivers this weekend is, this is a message verbatim from one of our delivery drivers. One lady sobbed tears of joy and thankfulness. She said she is really struggling and she's been praying for some kind of blessing, this kind of blessing. Your mission touched her heart so deeply and filled their bellies for a little while. It was very touching, and we are truly grateful we were able to be part of it all.
It's amazing. Yeah. And that, just seeing the mission reach the people it's needed by no definition. None of us fit into a box. None of us, and especially this year, has been abnormal in many ways. So that, I can't wait to hear more stories.
Yeah, that's dazzling. That's
Hmm.
dazzling. And
Yeah.
another thing that overwhelmed me, especially right now with everything, with the political environment, the way that it has been, another thing that really took me back and overwhelmed me when I saw it and when I thought about it and when I saw the representation of it in person, it was very overwhelming. So let me share this right quick. I pulled it up. So this year we had bags. This year we had red bags and blue bags, and each family got a red bag and a blue bag. And one of the things that was overwhelming to see in real life, in real time, was there's no doubt we had Democrats and Republicans there. No doubt. Not one word was spoken about politics. Not one word was spoken about your candidate winning or losing. Not one word was spoken about anything like that. Everyone just came together for the mission to do what's right and to make a difference.
Yeah.
And right here, this picture that I'm showing for the audio listeners, we're showing a picture of the gym where we delivered at, and it's full of red bags and it's full of blue bags.
Hmm.
And when I look at this picture, it symbolizes that red and blue can come together to make an impact,
Yes.
because each family got a red bag, each family got a blue bag. And they had to come together in order to make a full meal to serve, a full meal to make a difference in someone's life, a full meal to make an impact on the kids and the families that it went to. Right.
Yep. Yep.
And that's the power of red and blue coming together.
Yeah.
That's the power of Republicans and Democrats coming together for a common cause without any political talk, without anything coming up about the current political environment, and picking up a red bag and a blue bag and delivering it
Yeah.
and giving it to a family.
Hmm.
So to me, when I stopped to look at that, it was like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
we can come together and make a difference. We can come together and allow our light to shine through to make an impact. We can come together and do something for the better good for all of our humans. It doesn't matter if you're red or blue. Red and blue is a powerful force when they come together. And to me, this floor full of red and blue bags is the perfect metaphor for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought about that too as on day 2, kind of when we were setting them all out like that. And it just was, I don't know, I had this split thought that I was like, I bet there are people out there that would not want to help work with the blue or the red bags because they're the color they are right now at this time. And I just had that thought, like, thank God no person like that is here today. And
No.
just this overwhelming feeling that, I mean, the the everyone coming together in the oneness that was present is
Yeah. Everyone had to load a blue bag. Everyone had to load a red bag. Everyone had to deliver a red bag and a blue bag. And this went beyond color. This went beyond political affiliation. This went beyond whatever you feel right now in the current environment.
mhm,
And you can't put that into words.
no.
You can't put
It's
that into words because these are people who came together, regardless of what they believe, to make a difference, to make an impact.
mhm,
That they know that there is good work in the world that needs to be done and that they are the vehicle to do that work.
yeah,
So it was, to me, that was what dazzled me. To me, that was overwhelming. To me, that's what came through and really made an impact and saw me. It just filled my heart when I saw that.
mhm, yeah. It renews, what are those old memes that used to go around, faith renewed in humans. It was
For
one of
real.
those missions that just, I mean, people I've never met. I've been a part of the organization, I mean, a solid 5 years, but almost 6, and there were just so many folks that it's not their first year volunteering, but I'd never met them before. And so knowing that there was a whole other group of contributors of their time, of money, of all kinds of just resources that it would the group that I guess that's what is so overwhelmingly beautiful to me. And especially having watched the board, everyone made a list of their resources and what they could offer. And it wasn't a comparison. It wasn't, and that's the beauty of a group coming together to complete anything is it's not a comparison. You're unique, I'm unique, Tamara's unique, Tim's unique, like all these people that just had their unique skills, put them in the bucket. And it was kind of like, okay, well, you're in charge of this, you're in charge of this. But the beauty of what could happen, because reminder, our goal was originally 200 families for 1 week. So
Yes.
we increased it to 325 because everything was so efficient and effective and just all hands on deck. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yes. And we raised just an abundance of money. We raised our donors, our sponsors, our corporate sponsors. We can't say enough about them. Um, we just can't, right? Like it's amazing. And then the volunteers who came out, like, look
Hmm.
at this.
Yeah.
For the audio listeners, I'm showing some pictures that were taken. People loading cars, kids moving pallets. My son is right there moving a pallet.
Mhm.
Volunteers registering and taking temperature of the volunteers coming in. And again, right there, red and blue bags coming
Mhm.
together.
Yep.
The only way this was going to work was if the red and blue bags came together. It
Yep.
wasn't going to work no other way.
And support each other because when we ran out of blue bags, we had to then go to a different kind of red bag. So,
Correct.
yeah, just sometimes you might have to be there to pick up your teammate's part, and that's okay. That's okay. That's why you're on a team.
And if that's not dazzling, if that doesn't shine light, if that doesn't brighten you up on the inside, I don't know what will.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what will.
Oh, it's just so fulfilling to be a part of something like that. So,
So let me ask you, Courtney, how can
okay.
people open themselves? How can people open themselves up to dazzle someone? Because there's two parts: opening yourself up to dazzle, and then I'll speak a little bit about opening up and allowing yourself to be dazzled.
Yes. Okay. So, open. So, ultimately, you have to get vulnerable. And the
Ooh.
reason I say that is because you, to help the most or the most efficient way, the most growth to another person who's looking up to you that you can offer is to tell them your story, to tell them what you've been through, to tell them it's not to show them your Facebook highlight reel of your life. you're polished, edited, no, you're going to have to get vulnerable and say, yeah, I've fallen on my face there. Here's how I got up. So you need to be willing to be vulnerable, whatever that means to you, because your story it could be, what's the saying? It could be someone else's, playbook, how to get out of the situation they're in. So by holding it in, it's not help. I used to think my story wasn't much of anything. And then I started opening up and living my life in that vulnerable way, in that authentic way. And honestly, I met another version of myself. But I've just been able to build so many connections that I hope are as helpful as I feel they have been, and because I've gotten growth from them as well. But yeah, open up and be vulnerable, because people will be able to better approach you when they need you, and basically requesting you to dazzle them, and you'll be able to see the folks around you who you need to connect with more, because your eyes will actually be open.
I think that's the key. I think you summed it up right there. You got to be vulnerable in order to dazzle someone.
Yeah. It doesn't come
if you're inauthentic,
keeping your shield up.
Yeah. If you're inauthentic or very, what's the word? If you're very inauthentic and very calculating with everything that you do, you will not dazzle anybody.
Correct.
You will not dazzle anybody. If it's a calculated picture, if it's a calculated action, if it's a calculated post, because you're like, oh, okay, this is to dazzle someone. That's not going to happen. So for me, on the other side, to allow yourself to be dazzled, I struggle with that. Because even over this weekend, there was a lot of dazzling moments, and I was already on planning the next event in my head. Everyone was talking about how great we did, what a great event this was, how it was so exciting, and all of this and all that. And in my head, I'm like, haha, just wait till next year.
So where do you think that comes from? Because we've talked a lot this year about that toxic perfectionism and then acute perfectionism. Am I saying that right? But basically, there's a healthy level of obsessing over the next goal, the next thing. But where do you think you are on the scale?
It's not even about perfectionism for me, because I know that the event wasn't perfect, but I know it could have been better. So I know the event wasn't perfect, but I know it could have been better. But the minute that we're done, it's okay. What's next?
Yeah,
let's go.
I think that just really illustrates your mission.
I'm ready to double up next year. I'm ready to figure out how next year no family that comes up or walks up to the club will get turned down.
Yeah.
Where everyone who comes to get something, whether they're on the list or not, will not get turned down. Where we're going to serve every single person that comes up and hears about the event. That no one's going to leave empty-handed. So that's where I'm already thinking. And I'm like, okay, this was good, but now let's go for great.
Yeah.
And while everyone's excited and everyone's like, and I'm already like, okay, this was good, but hold my beer. Wait till 2021.
Yeah. So
wait till you see what we do next. wait till you see the challenges that I'm going to lay out for the board and that we're going to work towards. Do you see what I'm saying?
We're ready. Yeah.
But again, I don't allow myself to get, and this is a flaw. This is something that I have to constantly and consistently work on and be mentally aware of, because I don't allow myself to celebrate. I don't allow myself to take credit. I don't allow myself to get sucked into the excitement that everyone else is feeling. And that's a flaw. That's definitely something that I need to work on.
So how do we get you to a point where you will be dazzled by reflecting, not judging it as in, how can I make this better for the next one, but just reflecting and pairing that up with fulfillment? I don't know. What I originally wanted to ask you was, how do we get you to be dazzled by some kind of rest? But honestly, I don't know if it's specifically rest that is your problem, if this is a problem, but it is something that you have expressed, you are not satisfied where you're at.
It's definitely something I can improve. It's definitely a quality that I can stop to appreciate. I don't stop to smell the roses.
When was the last time you were dazzled by something like smelling the roses? Take us back there. There's got to be something. Oh, I feel like Jesse's laughing somewhere in your house right now.
When Sebastian was born, but even not too long after he was born, I was like, man, I can't wait for him to get older so we can do stuff together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't really think of anything like, and this is actually really sad. This is actually like,
Well, that's just the
this is
meaning you're putting on it. We're working through it. Don't
I
define it
get it.
yet. We're
No, I agree. You're right. Thank you for that.
You're
But
welcome.
it's actually because I don't really stop to smell the roses. I don't really stop to appreciate what we do. I don't really stop to appreciate what I bring to the table, because it's always like, oh, okay. You like that? Just wait till the next one. You know,
I think,
and then it's like in my head, I work towards outdoing what I did before.
Mhm.
If someone is dazzled because of something that we did and we put together, then it's okay. So now how can I razzle dazzle?
Yes. Okay. And Jesse said yesterday that y'all rested yesterday, but while we rested, we talked about what we could improve. So that's
Exactly.
improvement. That's improvement. Look, you rested, you enjoyed family time. But yeah, it's what I hear is you are doing a lot better job than you perceive you are doing. But I mean, if you feel there's room for improvement, there's definitely room for improvement, right?
And then that happens with
So
everything I do, though. Even the meetings that we hold here, I'll get compliments. Man, that was a great meeting. I'm like, yeah, just wait till the next one.
I mean, they
and,
are really
and,
impactful.
then I'm already thinking, how can I make it better? How can I make it that better? What can I do to make a bigger impact? What can we do to make sure in the case of Vasquez, this was great. We served so many families, great. So now what can we do to make sure that no one that comes up, walks up, drives up, gets turned away?
Mhm. Well, I
What can we
think
do?
it definitely sounds like you're in a 2 millimeter situation because you don't have a problem. You don't need to get off the path you're on. You're on the right path, Bill. But yeah, there is a certain the meaning. It's not even the meaning. I don't know. I'm not thinking of the word to bring this back home, but I think you've a certain level of this obsession of yours is what has driven this and driven it to be bigger and better and so much. There are people who, if they just do 20 more a year, they're like, yay, we fed more this year. And that's admirable. That's
It is.
wonderful.
It is.
I would, I, I would see Ricardo fall over before he picked a goal that had that little of an increase in between point A and point B. So it's just interesting to watch, but at the same time, a lot of that part of your personality fuels the people around you. It fuels, Jessie has her own kind of drive that is very unique, so between the two of y'all, that's why this has grown so fast over the years.
It
But
is. But I could definitely stop to enjoy and appreciate and accept the compliments. Because the minute someone compliments something about what we do, it's
Mhm.
like, well, I didn't do it by myself. It
True.
was a team. And I'm always the first one to acknowledge the team, because they'll be like, oh, Ricardo, thank you so much for putting this together. No, it was a team effort. There was no small role.
Can you
Eh,
tell me 5
I,
things about your contribution over this weekend that you're proud of? We can sit here silent. No, okay, so just about your contribution, just give me 3. Give me 3. If you struggle with that, I'll tone it down to 1 because I love you, but okay.
uh,
Give me 1.
this is interesting because it's not that I don't value myself. It's not the lack of confidence. It's not the lack of, okay, I know that I added value to this, but I see the bigger picture. I see that the person that came in to fold boxes and take out the trash was just as valuable as the person who delivered the food. So to me, there's not one thing that I don't know. Why am I struggling with that? And why
I
am I
don't
trying
know.
to? And why
This
am
is
I?
kinda why I wanna work through it in real time to show
And why am
folks
I?
how this works.
And why am I struggling to? And why am I trying to get out of answering the question?
Yeah, I
Um,
do the same thing when you try to back me into a corner.
um, I took some good pictures. We did some good lives. I talked to the volunteers. I made sure that they were appreciated, that we appreciate them coming. We went above and beyond, and I told Jesse we're going to text everyone personally and thank them. We're going to shoot a video for everyone that volunteered and showed up. Um, like, but it was kind of like, okay, I know that that's good. I know that I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the event as a whole. I'm proud of everyone that came together to make it happen. But at the same time, it's also like, okay, cool. Next.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
And I
this
think
it's this thing, Courtney. Like, what the heck, man?
it takes some time to digest things too. So he is right after the event, so it is kind of still you're processing it. So, but
It is, it
that I
is.
think
But
thank you for being vulnerable and showing folks kind of the mental cycle because it's hard because we all struggle with something like this, whether
it
it's the
is.
exact trait that Ricardo's talking about he wants to improve or not. We all struggle with a trait and we kind of get in this cycle where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. But
So
it's
you got to
definitely not
learn to break your own
self-esteem.
state.
Like, I feel in my heart that it's not low self-esteem. It's not that I don't appreciate myself. It's not anything like that. Okay, I know that that is not the thing. When I know that I appreciate myself, and I know that I don't have a self-esteem issue. However, it's still kind of like, okay, Ricardo, thank you. Oh, well, I didn't do this myself. It's a team effort.
Mhm.
We all came together to do this.
Yeah.
And then it's also kind of like, okay, well, hold on a second. Just wait till
Yeah.
we get the next one going.
Yeah. I love that.
So,
Yeah, relentless grit. That's the word that I always, yeah. So Jesse said, yes, I agree. We're successful because of his relentless grit. And you can blush right now. Okay. Social media posts were on point. Let's see this one. You delegated very well. You did. You never even had to tell me what to do. That's true. I didn't
no,
even think
Jesse
about
did.
that. You, yeah, that's what you did. And you took care of driver. Yeah. So there's just a
um,
ton that you could probably never list all that you and Jesse did along with many other people. So just it's interesting though, because yeah,
but the thing
that was a
is,
great
Courtney,
example.
it's about the mission.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, it's about the mission. It's about like, okay, we turned a lot of people away. And I'm like, oh, this is unacceptable. We cannot turn people away. Even everyone's got to leave with something.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, what's the bigger mission here? The bigger mission is to make an impact and to make a difference.
Hmm. To
And
start a ripple effect with
correct, correct.
families,
And
every
that's the
family.
thing. It's not about kudos. It's not about being dazzled. It's not about dazzling. Does that happen in the process? Yes. Do people get dazzled? Yes. Do people dazzle other people with what we put together? Absolutely. But to me, it's the mission. Like Jesse just says here, we turned away 10 people that walked up, and that's too much. It's too much. We can't turn people
Hmm.
away. We can't
Hmm.
turn people away. At the end of the day, we can't turn people away. Times are changing and we got to change with the times.
Hmm.
At one
Yep.
point, I
We'll
felt
have
bad.
green bag to the side next year or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At one point in the past, we would turn people away, but I felt bad, but it wasn't guilt. Now, this year was the first time that I actually felt bad, and then I actually felt guilty because it occurred to me when I was watching them come and talk, and I was talking to them, and sometimes other people were talking to them, and the amount of if for them to come and ask and just walk up to ask, there's something there. They might have to swallow their pride. They might have had to, some people might have casually just done it to do it, right? But there's a certain number that you could tell that they didn't want to ask, but they felt that they should,
Hmm.
right? And I was like, wow, it took guts to come up here and ask for a bag of food, and we don't have one to give you. And then
Hmm.
the look of disappointment was like, oh, it's okay. We understand. While they're seeing us load bags and bags and bags into cars.
Hmm.
And to me, that was unacceptable. To me, that's just unacceptable. It's like no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, If you walk up to when we're delivering and you want something, you're going to leave with something.
Mhm. I think
Man.
the organization just grew a little bit. Kinda
and
like the
to,
Grinch in the heart. That's what I'm imagining, but it's you're doing the right thing because you had a feeling you didn't like, guilt, and now
yeah,
you're turning into something, and plans are being whispered and things are, now that we've seen what we can do in November, what can we do the rest of the year, and things that just the possibilities are endless. And so I think I commend you because you're doing the right thing and turning that feeling into something, not just letting it live there. However, it's still you need to give yourself credit for the hundreds of families you did impact, but
we
we love your drive for
we
still
the
going.
hundreds of see there I go, the hundreds of families that we impacted,
Yeah.
the meals that we served, right?
Mhm.
Like that's what it's about. We came together as a community. We did it. It wasn't me. It wasn't Jesse. It wasn't the board. It was everyone's combined effort that made this happen, big or small. The
Yes.
smallest donation we got was $5, and to me, that donation is just as valuable as the
Mhm.
thousands of the dollars of donations that we got.
Yeah.
And in some cases, and I'll tell you this, and I forget the story. There's a Bible story about this, or I don't remember exactly, but they were doing a collection. Like I don't even know if it's a Bible story or what, because I don't know the Bible that well. But a poor lady came up and gave 2 bits, and someone told the priest or Jesus, like they said something like, "Hey, that's like nothing. Like why should we be happy about that?" And he says, if that's all they can give, if they only have 5 bits and they give two, they gave a lot
Mhm.
versus compared to the person that has 1,000 bits and gives two,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So there's no donation that's too small. And I'm paraphrasing this story, totally butchering it, but you kind of get the point, right?
Yeah.
So if someone only has $100 in the bank and they give five, that's 5% of what
Mhm.
they gave. That $5 could go a long way
Yeah.
versus the person that has thousands of dollars in the bank and gives 20,
Mhm.
right? It's it's like, wow, okay. So there's no such thing as a donation that's too small if it's given from the heart. And if that's all you can give, that's all you can give. And that's
Mhm.
okay. That $5 donation means just as much to me and the organization as the 500, the $5,000 donations.
Mhm. And especially if you are that person who maybe only has $1 or their time has no money, just has their time to give. It's still, even if you have gotten those comments where you're told it's not enough or something, I mean, just keep giving. Just
Correct.
keep showing up because that's the ticket to so many things you want in life, but that's actually how you're going to change the world. It's not going to be, "Oh, I'm going to make $1 million so I can do this 10 years from now." That's not going to do anything compared to you actually communicating with a human now, or you offering a meal to somebody now. And it is an awkward thing. It isn't easy. Like, I don't think any of these situations would be super easy and just roll off the tongue, whether you're the person giving or the person receiving
It's
or the
dazzling.
person asking. Yeah, it's just it's dazzling. Yeah.
It's dazzling. It's that light shining through regardless of how much you give.
Hmm.
Jesse, right here, real quick. We had our corporate sponsors. We have businesses that they're at an all-time low this season. They're at an all-time low, and they still gave us a donation. And they were apologizing because of the no donation they were able to give. And I'm like, hey, you're barely keeping your doors open.
Hmm.
You're like on the brink of possibly losing your business. There's no need to apologize. There's no such thing as a small donation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's where I'm like, wow, okay. You believe in the mission so much that you're still giving a little bit. And there's no such thing as a little bit. There's no need to apologize. There's no need to next year I'm going to do, but no, that's okay. It's okay. Like, hey, your business is possibly fixing to go under. If you gave nothing, I understand.
Yeah.
That's dazzling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's it's just seeing human nature defy all this conditioning
Yeah.
really makes my heart open. I don't
It's
know how to say it.
dazzling.
Yeah. Yeah. It dazzles
It's
me to the core.
dazzling. It's the light coming through. What was the definition about the light? Do you still have that
To
up?
overpower with light or to impress deeply, overpower or confound with brilliance.
There you go.
Yeah.
All these stories that we're
So,
sharing as far as giving and the charity, we were dazzled by the generosity of so many.
yes. It was very moving.
Yes, very. Oh, see, now I
Good.
actually
Yeah.
feel it. I'm allowing
Ah,
myself to actually feel it. I'm not like, okay, just wait till next year. I'm
yeah.
actually
Now that you
talk.
brought it back up, I'm gonna bring because earlier when you were saying, "Hey, it's okay if you did your best," and that's you were literally using a line that I was like, "Oh, you should take your own advice, Ricardo." But yeah, I'm so happy. Okay, keep
But
feeling it.
see, yeah, so right now I'm feeling it. And right now I'm getting overwhelmed thinking about it while I'm talking about it. I'm allowing myself to be dazzled by what happened
Mhm,
with our volunteers and our sponsors and everyone who showed up. And the majority of volunteers didn't have the money to donate, but they came to work.
mhm.
Talk about dazzling.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
Yep.
feel it.
You're a heck of a communicator with
I,
communicating the
I
mission and just keeping the invitation open for anyone who
I
can.
feel like the Grinch in my heart is growing.
Oh, yay. Oh my
I
goodness.
feel it. I feel it growing. Like my little prune of a heart is
A
growing and
little
expanding.
yeah. Oh, man.
Oh,
Well, just
this was
yes.
good.
Thank you to everyone and happy Monday. And it's a special week. So it's Thanksgiving week. I'm sorry. And just what are you thankful for? Like look for more to be thankful for. Tell more people you're thankful for them, but be specific. Tell that person that inspired you that this I'm thankful you inspired me to do this. Or call your mom and say, "Hey, I'm thankful you put up
Yes,
with this," or "I'm thankful you taught me this." So just make it a point to be specific this week with people. You don't know what it could mean to them.
you don't. This was good.
Cool.
We'll be back on Wednesday.
Yes. Have a good
Have
day.
have a great day and make sure you subscribe to the podcast, like and share. Visit forceforgrowth.com.
Boop, boop.
Bye.
Yes.